Once upon a time, in the middle of a cold, snowy winter, a queen was sitting by her window and sewing. Suddenly she pricked her finger with a needle. Drops of bright red blood fell onto the white snow on the window sill. When she saw the red blood on the white snow, she said softly, "I wish I had a child with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony wood." Not long after that, the queen gave birth to a baby girl. The baby looked exactly as she wished. Her skin was very white, her lips were deep red, and her hair was black like night. "We will name her Snow White." But the happiness did not last long. Soon after, the queen died. After 1 year, the king married again. The new queen was very beautiful, but she was also proud and cruel. She could not accept that anyone could be more beautiful than her. She had a magic mirror. Every day she stood in front of it and asked, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" The mirror always answered, "You, my queen, are the fairest of all." This answer always made her happy. But one day, when Snow White had grown into a lovely little girl, everything changed. When Snow White was only 7 years old, she had already become more beautiful than the queen. One morning, the queen asked the mirror again, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" The mirror answered, "You are fair, O queen, it is true. But Snow White is fairer than you." The queen became very angry. Her jealousy turned into hate. From that moment, she could not stand looking at Snow White. Her anger and envy grew every day until she could not bear it anymore. "Take Snow White into the forest. Kill her and bring me her heart to prove that she is dead." The huntsman obeyed. He took Snow White deep into the forest. When he lifted his knife to kill her, Snow White started crying. Please, she was too kind and too beautiful to kill. Run, child. Escape and never come back. To trick the queen, the huntsman killed a wild boar. He took the boar's heart to the castle and told the queen it was Snow White's heart. The queen believed Snow White was dead. She had the heart cooked and ate it. Meanwhile, Snow White was alone and very afraid in the dark forest. The tall trees stood over her. Every small sound in the leaves made her jump. "What will I do? Oh, where am I? What will I do?" She ran for many hours and did not know where she was going. Finally, when the sun began to go down, she saw a strange little house in an open place in the forest. Inside the house she saw 7 small plates, 7 cups, and 7 little beds. Snow White was hungry and very tired. She ate a little food from each plate and drank a little from each cup. Then she tried each of the 7 beds until she found one that felt just right. Soon she fell asleep. That night, 7 dwarfs came back home. They were working in the mountains. "Look, someone has been in our house. Who has been sitting in my chair? Who has been drinking from my cup? Who has eaten from my plate? Someone has been sleeping in my bed, and she is still here. Who is she? She is very beautiful. Yes, she is a lovely girl." The dwarfs did not wake her. They let her sleep. The 7th dwarf slept in the other beds one by one during the night. In the morning, Snow White woke up. She was surprised when she saw the dwarfs. But the dwarfs were kind and friendly. They asked her name and how she came to their house. Snow White told them her story. She told them about her wicked stepmother, the huntsman who let her go, and how she walked through the forest until she found their house. The dwarfs said, If you stay here and keep the house clean, cook, clean, sew, and wash, you can live with us. We will protect you. Thank you. Snow White agreed. For some time she lived happily with the dwarfs. Every morning before leaving, the dwarfs warned her. Be careful. Do not let anyone into the house. Your stepmother will soon find out you are still alive. Back at the palace, the queen stood again in front of her magic mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all? The mirror answered, You are fair, O Queen. It is true. But Snow White, beyond the hills with the 7 dwarfs, is fairer than you. The queen became very angry. I will not accept this. She dressed herself as an old peddler woman and travelled over the mountains to the dwarf's house. Lovely laces for sale. Beautiful ribbons. Good day, madam. What are you selling? Snow White thought the woman was harmless. She opened the door and looked at the lace. Oh, how lovely! Let me help you, dear. A pretty thing like this must look perfect. Then she tied the lace very tightly. Now you will never be more beautiful than me. When the dwarfs came home, they helped Snow White and saved her just in time. Thank you. That was your stepmother. Promise us you will never open the door again. The next day the queen asked her mirror again. I will not accept this. Snow White will pay. The angry queen changed her disguise again. This time she dressed as another old woman. She made a poisonous comb and went again to the dwarf's house. Pretty combs for your lovely hair. I must not let anyone in. That is fine. Just look from the window. Snow White looked at the comb. When the woman offered to place it in her hair, Snow White allowed her. But the moment the comb touched her head, the poison worked. When the dwarfs came home, they saw her lying there. They searched and found the comb. As soon as they pulled it out, Snow White woke up again. You must never open the door to strangers again. When the queen learned that Snow White was still alive, she made the most dangerous trick of all. She prepared a beautiful red and white apple. Only one side of the apple was poisoned. Then she dressed as a farmer woman and knocked on the dwarf's door. Delicious apples, fresh from the orchard. I cannot let anyone in. That is all right. I will cut the apple in half. You eat the red side and I will eat the white side. Then you will see it is safe. As soon as Snow White took a bite, she fell to the ground. When the dwarfs came home, they could not wake her. They tried everything, but nothing worked. She was not breathing. She was gone. For 3 days the dwarfs cried for her. Then they made a glass coffin. They placed Snow White inside it on the mountain, and one dwarf always stayed there to watch. The queen again asked her mirror. Mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all? You, my queen, are the fairest of all. One day a prince rode through the forest. He saw the beautiful girl in the glass coffin. He read the golden words written there, "Is Snow White, daughter of a king." He was deeply moved by her beauty. Please let me take her with me. I will always honor her. At first the dwarfs refused, but the prince asked them again and again with great honesty. Finally they agreed. As the prince's servants carried the coffin away, they stumbled on the road. The sudden shake made the piece of poisoned apple come out of Snow White's throat. Snow White opened her eyes. Where am I? You are safe now. Come with me to my castle. Will you be my queen? Snow White smiled and agreed. A grand wedding was held. Snow White and the prince were married with great celebration. The wicked queen was also invited to the wedding. The wicked queen was also invited to the wedding. She still believed Snow White was dead. Before she left, she stood again in front of her mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all? The mirror answered, You are fair, my queen. It is true, but the new queen is fairer than you. The queen felt afraid, but she wanted to see who the new queen was. At the wedding feast, a punishment was waiting for her. The queen was forced to wear red-hot iron shoes and dance in them until she fell to the floor and never rose again. Snow White and the prince ruled their kingdom with kindness and joy. Snow White never forgot the dwarfs who saved her. They visited often and were always welcomed as honored guests. And they all lived happily ever after.